A woman's face cream tainted with mercury, now blamed for putting a woman in a coma. I mean, this is unbelievable. Steve Large with our affiliate KOVR reports she was getting this face cream from Mexico, and actually she knew the cream was being altered. Here's that.
It was a huge slap in the face, honestly. You know, you don't really expect something this severe to happen with just a face lotion.
This young man's mother is laying in a hospital in a comatose state, suffering from mercury poisoning after using a Pond's labeled skin cream from Mexico like this one, tainted with an addition of a powerful form of mercury. The symptoms, now so severe, started more mild.
It came on very slowly. She had mentioned just numbing in her lips and numbing in her mouth. She had a lot of fatigue, very tired all the time, just wanting to be in bed.
He says his mother regularly used the skin cream she knew was altered from its original manufacturing in Mexico because the product typically worked better. For years, she had no problems using it twice daily.
What was the idea behind getting it there versus getting it, at the drugstore?
The one from Mexico was better. I had better of a. They would alter them a little bit for the effect.
And you were aware of that?
Yeah.
The Sacramento County Public Health Department has released this chart of dozens of skin creams from Mexico seized in California, testing positive for mercury. Public Health Officer Dr. Olivia Casiri says this time the woman in the coma used a version that included a far more powerful form of mercury called methylmercury.
We don't know whether this was an intentional change or whether there was a mistake in the person who was adding the mercury.
Dr. Casiri says there's an informal network of suppliers that bring the altered skin creams into the country, selling them in swap meets and flea markets. In his mother's case, the purchase was from an individual she knew. Now, this seemingly harmless product has left her in a dire medical state.
To see it happening to my mom, it's tough.
All right, so how does this happen? Pond's is responding to the report. They say it only designs, manufactures, and clears for sale products that are safe for consumers. They say we strongly recommend only purchasing Pond's products from trusted retailers and reporting any product tampering. So, what is the takeaway here? Joining me now, Dr. Daria Long, to talk about this mercury poisoning and whether or not our night cream is going to kill us all. I mean, is this common? Could this happen?
So, Lynn, hi, it's good to see you. And this is a really good question, but the reality is Consumer Reports and other groups have tested products, and they found that, as the video said, that many of the skincare products developed outside the U.S. do add mercury because it is a really potent skin lightening agent. So it is sometimes found in products outside the U.S. or in counterfeit products.
Okay, so if it's mercury poisoning, what does that look like? What's the symptoms?
So much as the sun mentioned, you get some anxiety, you get tremors, and then you can get irritability. Think of the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland. That was mercury poisoning. So you get kind of irritability, paranoia. Some people can get some fearfulness or even weird shyness. But then they have that tremor, anxiety, insomnia, develop weakness, depression. And then they can also have some non-brain effects. So it's really important to know. They may have a peeling rash. They may have some hair loss or their gum swelling. So all of those are symptoms you can look for.
And so when we're buying these kinds of products, how do we know that it hasn't been tainted with something like this? We all go on Amazon, we order something, and you see the brand name, and you assume it's safe.
So, Lynn, that is a question that everybody needs to know, and I want people to know about this. One is be very careful when you're buying something. If you know it's from an outside the U.S. or outside the European Union, it may be more likely to have the contaminated product in it. And then you have to be really careful when you're online buying from any third-party vendor site, because a lot of them have been found to have counterfeit products or tainted ones. So I personally, and I recommend for everybody, when it comes to skincare and things like that, food, go to the original source and buy it from there as opposed to some third-party online source.
Oh, great advice. Dr. Daria Long, always so good to have you. Thank you so
Lynn.
much.
Great to see you.